Hello, Dale, your librarian here. How do you find solid data to put in an infographic? It seems like a straightforward thing. People are doing it all over the web and things like that. So I'm going to show you how to find scholarly articles, which is kind of like the premier, most valid, purest form, most unbiased version of data that you can find out there so you can make your own infographics. I'll show you a couple of strategies, but this is kind of like how you just go in for the basics. Go to the library homepage. If you're not on campus, you might not have access to the full text of things, so click on the off campus and then you'll log in, but then go to advanced catalog search. If you started out here and you could say Colorado River drought water rights. You could throw in a word salad like that. This is not AI, but it's kind of a natural language. So if you're in a rush, you can narrow down by articles and peer-reviewed journals, and you can start to get some of the things that we're going to talk about. But I always like doing things on the advanced search because I'm a boring librarian. So I'm going to break it down. So instead of a natural language, this one only looks for the words that you put in. So I'm going to do Colorado River, and you have to put it in quotes if it's more than one word. Colorado River. What this means is it's going to go through the 150 million things in the library catalog, and it's only going to look for instances of those two words stuck together. That's what the quotes do. So I want to narrow it down a little further, and I'm interested in like what's going on with the drought. So like Lake Powell apparently is really low, and I'm not sure if I want to talk about drought, or I know there's like states' rights and water rights, so I don't know if it's going to be drought or water rights. So I'm going to say, well, give me one of that or one of the other one, and that will. Did you see how we went? Oh, you can't have access. This narrowed it down from like 42,000 to 6,000, and then I'm going to narrow it down to articles, and I'm going to narrow it down to stuff that's been published in the last 2 years, so I don't get stuff from like the 1960s, which is fine, but I'm just not interested in it. And then I want to go to peer-reviewed journals, because there's like newspaper articles, magazine articles. Not a lot of magazines left, but you get the idea. Peer-reviewed, this is like the most refined, best stuff that scholars use all the time. And what you'll be presented with is not a smart search, but you'll be presented with things that have these major categories in them. Oh, and if you need help with keywords, reach out to me. I'm happy to help construct those. But essentially, keep on trying until you find things that resonate with you. So for example, there's like a solution, reallocation, there's water rights systems, there's like a bunch to go through. You are the intelligence on this one. You get to decide which ones are going to work for you. So for example, barriers to implementation of regenerative blah, 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 blah. I don't know what that means. So what I would do is I was like, well, that kind of looks okay. Go to the abstract. Here it's called the description. But what you'll get is what we call in the library sciences generalizable knowledge. So McCarthy and Rushforth created this paper, and what they did is they took all these hundreds of pages of research, boiled it down to an article that's maybe like 30 to 70 pages long, and then they boiled it down to generalizable information where they talk about in the abstract basically the problem and the background, maybe how they gathered data, and then the summary. This is something where you don't have to know any of the research or anything like that, but you can see, well, if we see that there's good community resources, then it helps people figure out irrigation equipment and familiarity with water rights. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that last few sentences are meant to be really quick. What you do then is if you find one where you're like, well, okay, that looks okay. Scholarly articles, as a rule, typically provide their data so you can see it. This is what we're making our infographic off of. So go and click on Get the PDF, and you'll see that abstract again. And a scholarly article is going to start out with the abstract, and then they'll go into like a background. So this is like the lit review. So if you scroll down far enough, you'll start to see your own infographics. This is, whoa, all of a sudden it broke. What they're doing here is they're presenting their data, and you can take this data, because if it's in the scholarly article and they have this, it has to be based on actual information, so they're not just making this up. This is statistically sound. You can see data like that, and you can repackage it in your own graphic. Here's another data set, or not a data set, an infographic. Let me show you the two kinds of articles that you can expect to find. So the first one, I might have even grabbed, we might have looked at this one before. They will be showing like maybe a geographic infographic. Maybe there's like a timeline. So this is the last 2 decades and water levels. These are data sets that you can use to approximate and make your own infographic, but you must be careful to cite these articles. But they also have a timeline, but there's not a lot of data. This is kind of a top layer survey. So you can use that, but how do you find your own data? Some articles will have both. They'll have the infographics. Oh, I picked the same one. They'll have the infographics, like this one's got a ton of infographics, but it also has data, raw data that you can use to interpret into your own infographic. Both ways of gathering the data are valid. Make sure and cite your sources. So when you're making your own infographic, you can use either the infographic that they've created, or you can use the raw data and then make your own. This has been Daily Librarian, learning how to shut the video.